Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here at 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Netta Irampur, and we want to start this hour with our weather alert. We are getting ready for that rain, a major storm moving into our area.
And we have team coverage here this morning. News 8's Chris Groh is live in Oceanside with more on the preparations for this storm. But first, Netta, we know you've been tracking the rain here and the impact on the commute. We've been seeing a few spinouts already.
Yeah, there's been a couple crashes, unfortunately, already. And we are seeing that rain already causing some slick roads out there. It's pretty minimal. So this is the light stuff. You can tell right now along the 15 now. So it was along the 5. It's now moving east a little bit more over the 805 as well. And I do want to show you what's coming. There's a lot more behind that line of light green because you can definitely tell the dark green, the yellows, the reds. Heavy downpours are occurring right now to the north, Irvine, LA County, and that will work its way south. So this is all part of that big system, atmospheric river, as we've been talking about, that stalled really over Northern California yesterday. And now we see it into Central and Southern California. So the way it's going to time out this morning, I will say it's going to be fairly light for the next hour. And then over the next couple hours, it'll start to build, especially in North County. We've already seen, downpours coming in for downtown San Diego, OB, Mission Beach, places like that. But nothing like what you're about to get through your lunch hour. That's going to be the time when the rain really does peak. So let's show you what's happening with your commute this morning. Road weather index already showing some areas in the green where it is slick along the 5 right now. But it's really the 805 that has the biggest problems. You can see that major slowdown right there, a big stretch of the 805 from Serra Mesa all the way up into University City. So let's start with that first crash. This was a single car rollover and one lane blocked because of it. This is just right around the 52 Governor, that exit right there off the 805 and the 52 University City. And then just to the south of that, this just popped up. Left-hand shoulder is now blocked on the 805 northbound. This is right at Mesa College Drive. So Serra Mesa, you're seeing those back up. So I would avoid the 805 if you can. Try to take a different freeway, the 15 or the 5, just to get around that mess right there.
Lots of preparations in place as we are bracing for this latest storm. Local leaders are taking precautions as well.
Yeah, News 8's Chris Groh joining us live in Oceanside now. So Chris, you're there. On the radar, we're seeing some rain. What are you seeing out there in real life?
Yeah, and that is pretty key here because we have seen the rain here in Oceanside right by the pier start to subside. You're not really starting to see it come down like you were just about a half hour ago, but what is strong right now is that wind and that surf. In fact, Netta, you and I were texting back and forth. We expect to see some pretty good waves here today, about 4 to 8 foot waves with the potential for 10 footers. And we're watching right now a pretty violent surf coming in. But as for what you can do at home to prepare, a couple of important things. And this is for everyone around the county, not just here in Oceanside, but especially in the city of San Diego. They have realized that we have the potential for flooding tomorrow. So they're giving people a task. They're saying if you see flooding on the roads, which again is always something we especially see in parts like Mission Valley, report it to the Get It Done app and don't go through and drive through that rain. Now, as for the wind, again, because that is something that everyone around the county knows that they're going to have to deal with, especially in certain areas, make sure you're tying down things that are loose out in those backyards. You don't want to take chances with them flying away. That could be anything from patio furniture to even covers for your grill, things like that. Make sure that if something's loose, it's either tied down or you bring it inside. And then, of course, we know that sandbags are going in places where they are necessary. We saw that being done in the Mission Beach area as well, too. Another area that does have that flooding potential. And, of course, as always, what you're going to probably see with the amount of rain that we'll be seeing today is those alerts that the ocean and the water going to likely contain that runoff and not safe for you to go ahead and go swimming and or surfing despite some of these big waves, though they're likely too violent right now. So again, we're seeing that wind kick up right now, not really seeing that rainfall at the moment, but that is something that we're expecting to see as the morning moves forward. Eric and Netta.
Chris Groh live for us. Thanks, Chris. And right now, over 3,000 Sdg E customers are without power. This is affecting people in Ocean Beach, Sunset Cliffs, and Point Loma. So the utility is looking into the cause of this right now. Electricity is expected to be restored around 9 a.m.
And now new this morning, another local school district pushing forward with a COVID vaccine mandate, this one in the South Bay.
Yeah, the Sweetwater Union Board passed a resolution on this overnight. News 8's Dana Marie McNichol live in Chula Vista with how this is going to be impacting those families there. Good morning.
Good morning. Absolutely going to be impacting a lot of students and staff here in the Sweetwater School District. Last night they had a meeting and voted and passed that vaccine mandate for all students and staff. Now this doesn't start until July 2022, so the start of next year. Families will be asked to actually express their intent to vaccinate or participate in the virtual instruction by mid-February, and then by February 1st, 2022, staff members must present proof of receiving their first dose. Now the district did send out a statement before the vote saying, quote, as we've seen here, COVID-19 has disproportionately affected our South Bay communities, particularly people of color who make up a vast majority of students in our Sweetwater district. Here's what the school board had to say, as well as some other parents who had opposing views of this mandate.
The vaccine mandate is the single best protective tool. It's not the only solution. That's why we continue to wear wet face masks. And as we saw today, the governor just reinstituted a face mask requirement.
I'm a district teacher of 16 years, a union member who is COVID vaccinated, and a mother of a COVID unvaccinated district student. Like many other unvaccinated and even vaccinated district members, I urge you not to implement any form of COVID mandates.
As we just heard there, a teacher speaking. We also heard parents as well as community members concerned about more students would be left to learn virtually and not in person if this mandated is passed. As well as the group Let Them Choose, they also showed up to protest this resolution. They were asked, actually, many of them, to go outside because they refused to wear masks inside that school board meeting. The group also sent the district a legal demand letter ahead of that meeting. Now, this vote was passed unanimously 5-0 by the school board. So again, many families will be having to make that decision by February whether to have their student vaccinated or learn virtually. Live in Chula Vista, Dana Marie McNichol.
All right, Dana Marie, thank you for that update. New this morning, Pfizer says its experimental pill to treat COVID cut the risk of hospitalization or death by 89%. The company says this would be the case if the pill is given to high-risk adults within the first few days of their first symptoms. Pfizer says it expects the drug to remain effective against variants like Omicron. The company hopes it can eventually offer the pills for people to take at home before they get sick enough to have to go to the hospital. The FDA is expected to make a decision on authorizing Pfizer's pill very soon, as well as a competing pill from Merck. And get ready to mask up yet again. A statewide indoor mask mandate will go into effect tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to stay in place for at least a month until January 15th. State health officials say COVID cases have been going up since Thanksgiving. San Diego County's public health officer, Dr. Wilma Wooten, supports the mask mandate, but not all health experts agree. A professor of medicine at UC San Francisco says it shouldn't apply statewide.
County by county, because there are places where hospitalizations are going up and there are places with high vaccination rate that hospitalizations are not going up.
San Diego County's 7-day average is 19.8 cases per 100,000 people, and the state's is 14. State officials will also toughen restrictions for mega events of 1,000 people or more. If you are not fully vaccinated, you will need a negative COVID test within 1 day if it's a rapid antigen test, or within 2 days of a CPR test. This morning, at least 88 people are dead after those tornadoes swept through parts of the Midwest and the South. Most of them are in Kentucky. More than 1,000 homes across 18 counties were just reduced to rubble. In Illinois, at least 6 people died after part of an Amazon warehouse collapsed. President Biden will visit Kentucky tomorrow to survey the damage. If you'd like to help the victims and the survivors in this, we put all the information for you at CBS8.com. Just click on the Help button. Part of a wild December weather pattern we have seen in that part of the country here. Back here at home, you can see those dark clouds here and just a little light off in the distance there.
Right, I was going to say, what is that? There's a boat out there. Yes, this is our view from Cardiff. I will say it's not a good boating day, not a good surfing day. You know, you're going to want to wait a few days for that. Big waves are crashing, as Chris Groves reporting in Oceanside. Our view from Cardiff does show some pretty big, heavy activity, a lot of choppy conditions across the coast. All a sign of this storm that's coming. Our swell is building because of it, and we are noticing already winds are very strong. So here's a look right now at where the rain is. Now it's starting to get a little more widespread, but still, I will say this is really light compared to what we're going to get. Now around the 15, it's starting to get a little wetter on those roads. So Escondido through Valley Center, Bonzel, San Marcos, you're all starting to notice a few more drops. You'll have to use your windshield wiper a couple times, and probably a good idea to just get that umbrella. Have it with you today. You will definitely need that. And when you're packing the kids up, getting them ready as well, I would say, you know, big jackets and hoodies and umbrellas. Those rain boots will come in handy now. Looking at what's going on downtown, we are starting to see a bit more moisture there. Same with right on Coronado. Now it just came through Sunset Cliffs, OB, Mission Beach area, La Jolla, and it's moving eastward a little bit more onto the, the 805 and the 15. Here's a look at the wider picture. So what's happening to the north of us will all be working its way south to San Diego. And so that's why we say right during the middle of the day, a lot of that will get here. By 7:30, though, we're going to start to notice the heavier bands coming on in. So you'll notice more raindrops as you probably are on your way to work or to school. And then by 9:30, 10 o'clock, it gets really strong right there in North County, Oceanside, Temecula. All that heavy stuff that we're seeing in LA will be here by then. So between 10 and 2, those are those warning hours that I'm, trying to reiterate that will be the heaviest. Right at that noon lunch hour, please don't drive if you can at all avoid it, just because it will come down pretty heavily. That's when we may see some of the flooding, big issues like that. Through 5, 6 o'clock, we'll continue to get that heavy rain, and then it starts to taper down tonight. A quick check of what's going on those roads already. We've been talking about a couple incidents because it is fairly wet out there, and as we know here in San Diego, people do unfortunately get into these crashes. There may be spin outs, things like that could occur. So right on the 805, things are very slow going. There was a crash right here near the 52. That has been cleared, but this one I want to get to because this one just popped up, Serra Mesa area. 805, this is going northbound right at Mesa College Drive, and you see the backups behind it already. So this moments ago showed up, and this will likely be an issue as they work to clear it. And then I want to get to the 163 here. The southbound side, they've been doing these emergency repairs. So right at 4th Avenue and the 163 westbound, that's where things are closed as they work to fix that area.